Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Pretty cool little pattern. I'm actually going to put a line around this one to kind of make it stand out. I don't know what you would call this type of pattern, but it looks, this would be like a seamless pattern because you could just keep going and going and going. Well, I made it with this shape. So we're going to start from scratch. Really pretty easy. And it's kind of ironic, the tool I use to start the pattern is a six-sided polygon, which is right there. So we're going to take a six-sided polygon, bump it up to six side, hit P, doesn't really matter in this case, make it a little bit smaller. Now, for me, to make it easier, I'm going to rotate it 30 degrees. I like the flat part. And I'm going to take 2-point lines and go from node to node across the furthest point of the pentagon. And you see that I'm getting triangles. And we need triangles if you look at this. So I want another triangle going right there. So I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill in that triangle. While holding down the control button, I'm going to make that triangle there. I'm going to left click, right click. Be it in black, it doesn't really matter. Now I need an opposite one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the plus key on the keyboard. I'm going to mirror it over, and then I'm going to mirror it this way, and I'm just going to have it lock to that or snap to there. That's really all you have to do. Now it's three-sided, so I'm going to group it together. Well, it's going to have three sides. Control G to group. Control D to duplicate, then click on the X and move your X to the center. Then just rotate it 120 degrees. Control D, and you've got the shape. Now, you could go through there and cut all the lines out and weld it, but I always found it easier to just take a rectangle tool, fill in the outside of the rectangle, fill in the inside of the rectangle, and we have that shape. Now I can delete all this. I'm going to make it a little bit littler, control, or not, just hold down the shift key and make it a little bit smaller. Well, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and left click, right click. And there is a way you could probably do this mathematically, but this is a pretty easy way to do it. Just Control D and make a duplicate. And I'm going to grab that node right there and have it click, snap to that node. And if you hit it the first time, then you can just go Control D. Now I'm going to group these together, Control G, and then I'm going to Control D. And you need to think about, we need to make a six-sided polygon. So where would you put it? You'd put it right there. And then if you hit it on the first try, your pattern is done. And you could keep going to this with forever and ever. Make it as big as you want. I'm almost going to call it a hatch pattern, but I really don't know. Now at this time, you could probably, let's try welding and see what happened. And well, there we go. That's not bad. I must be a little bit off on my marking, but that way, if you wanted to fill it all in, I could have filled it in to start with, or I could fill it in later. Maybe let's do one row of that. Let's change the Smart Fill, just kind of break it up to green on this one. And that, I think this way it'll actually show off the pattern, maybe a red. I'm just using the Smart Fill tool. We'll go ahead and go with the purple. And you don't have to do this part, but it does make it look pretty cool. And we haven't used the yellow. And then if you wanted to, you could fill in the other dots, or there's a lot you could do with it. Let's just use that for an example. I'm going to once again, let me get this off the page. I'm going to make a rectangle, and I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to use black. So what it did, it gave us that shape. Now I can take the Smart Fill tool in a color we haven't used. Well, let's just use black. I'm going to fill that in and then nudge it over and then go to object order, back a page. And you can see now only your polygons are black. Pretty neat little pattern, pretty easy to draw. I mean, I could have started out with triangles and rotated them and flipped them, but the 6-sided polygon works out perfectly. Anyway, I hope that helped just a little bit. Thank you for watching.